for Thursday, December 4th, 2014. I am your host, Daddy Warpig. I am back, broadcasting as always from a bunker deep underneath the house of geekery. You can catch me on Twitter at daddy_warpig, at daddy_warpig, or catch me at the House of Geekery, daddywarpig.com, daddywarpig.com. The Kick-Ass Geekcast broadcasting live every weekday, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Half an hour of news and views from the front lines of the defining war of our times. Or you can catch me, your host, Sundays, 7 p.m. Eastern for Geek Gab, the Geektacular Gab Fest. 1 hour of all play, no work, everything geekish under the sun. Welcome, everybody, back to the show, and as always, there are many things to cover, so we're going to move fast. I, your host, have, for reasons that remain unclear, recently been the target of a concentrated campaign of slander by the antis. Now, once again, I don't know what their deal is other than they're vile, evil, wretched people, and they hate people who are as awesome and intelligent and talented as I, your host. You know, I say things like that just to piss them off if they happen to tune in. I want you to know deep from the heart of hearts that I enjoy it, making them mad. It gives me joy. It gives me pleasure. It gives me happening. It gives me happiness. It puts a smile on my face. And maybe because of the sheer mirth and amusement I bring to my job here in this consumer revolt currently occupying the Gamergate hashtag, maybe the sheer mirth that I bring has made them even madder, because if they were contending with a grim, humorless bunch of scolds, at least they could say, well, we're better than those mean guys. But when you greet them with a joke and a smile and a Merry Christmas, it seems to send them into frothing fits of rage. I have one specific tiny little anti who has been dogging my heels for the last couple of weeks, obsessively scrubbing my feed, and this lying-ass scumbag, psycho, stalker, anti-troll, and I'm trying to make sure I get all the right titles in there in the right order, has been taking everything I say out of context and then lying to other people about what I say. Last night, he decided to launch an attack against Milo Yiannopoulos, otherwise known as Nero, reporter for Breitbart London. For obvious reasons, Milo being a very prominent pro. Of course, you'd want to criticize him, and being an anti, of course, you'd want to lie about it, because they're antis. That's what they do. Oh, I hear you now. I can hear you now right over the internet. I can feel the disapproval, the clucking tongues, the people saying, no, Daddy, that's too mean. You can't say that. You can't say they're liars Not all of them. You can't say that. After this event and after reading all of the things that Buttshead posts, I'm afraid I can and will say that because they have been heaping lies upon my head and telling me lies about other pros for months now. I have simply reached the conclusion that if you're a prominent entity, whatever you say concerning a member of the pros, those that are pro ethics, pro gaming, pro gamer, if you're criticizing them, I'm just going to assume you're lying because A, you've lied all the time, and B, you've lied about me. At the end of the story about Milo, criticizing him for remarks he made the night that Brianna Wu's dog was ill, accusing him of accusing her of accusing us of hurting and poisoning the dog. Yes, I got that right. I got that completely right. He accused Milo of accusing them of accusing us of poisoning her dog. Well, he also tacked on, because he's obsessed with me, your host, an accusation about the things I supposedly said. Here's the problem. In an entire, and he stuck this up on Storyfy. He stuck this up on Storyfy. And in this massive long post has many, many tweets from other people, even including Milo. But despite this, and despite having several paragraphs of accusations against me, your host, he doesn't include any quotes from me. Now think about that. Think about how odd that is. He has more than, around 10 quotes from many other people, and I can double check and count them up and get an exact count. In fact, I will. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 quotes from various people, none of whom are me. And in this piece that is dotted with quotes accusing me of being a vile, evil slanderer, of hurling accusations, he never once includes what I actually said. And he claims I'm lying about Wu. So I want to read to you the entirety of the post I made so we can analyze exactly where the lie is. I start off this massive Brobdingnagian Herculean post by saying, she said it, and then I include an archive link to what she tweeted, and then I say, pretty stunning, and I include the names of the 4 people I'm talking to, and then a screen cap. That's it. Top to bottom, left to right, back and forth, the entirety of me. My words are 5 words. She said it, pretty stunning. Everything else in the tweet is taken up by a screen cap, 4 names, and an archive link. Based on those 5 words, he makes a claim that I, your host, have deftly, cruelly, brutally woven a vast tapestry of lies intended to defame Brianna Wu and bring her under condemnation and damage her reputation and caused her to be hurled out of the society of decent human beings. Those 5 words are so powerful, are so potent, are so eloquent that they will destroy her reputation, and therefore he needs to condemn me. Now, I want to be honest with you. There was one other tweet in this same conversation that I made, and it's possible he could be referring to this other tweet. So I want to read to you the insanely long and complicated second tweet that I, your host, sent. And once again, I would appreciate if you could add your knowledge and intelligence to mine to help me divine where my brutal, cruel, nasty lie lies. I begin with an archive.today link, and then 3 words for your edification, followed with 5 names, not 4, and a screen cap. And that's it. Once again, I'm going to read that from the top in case you missed something in there. Archive today link for your edification, 5 names. And that's it. Based on these 2 tweets, he says that I lied about Brianna Wu, cruelly lied, callously lied, deliberately lied, even though I included archives of both comments, screen caps of both comments. Somehow I am guilty of hiding her words. Her comments are longer than the 5 words and the 3 words I posted. But somehow I am guilty of lying. So you scolds, you tongue cluckers, you polite people who think that I, your host, am being cruel when I call aunties liars, I want to assure you of this. 1, if you tell the truth well documented, they will call you a liar. And 2, they will lie about what you say and call it the truth. Because I have an archive of his Storify document wherein he lies about me, and I have the tweets, my tweets, that he lied about. I'll include the links to all of these in the description at the bottom of the video. Now, this is the fruits of a group of people who are deranged in general, or at least the majority of loud, noisy ones, and definitely many of the leaders, like Full Macintosh, are deranged in general, and a subset of these are deranged towards me in particular. This would not be a big deal, a large problem, were it not for the fact that people seeking to be polite or nice or reach out across the aisle, as it were, have listened to the aunties and believed them. Now, this is not something I'm ever going to talk about again, and were it not for a specific situation coming up, I would not be talking about it now. Last night, someone heard the lies of the aunties and agreed with them, got angry at me. We had some sharp words. They went on a stream and said some intemperate remarks about me, your host, for an extended period of time. Now, I did not watch the stream because I didn't want to get angry and say something I might regret later. The original encounter was angering enough. So in regards to this specific situation, and I have had other people who are aware of the stream and aware of my rule approach me to let me know what was going on, which is the only reason I'm speaking about this, is because there are people out there who know what's going on, and I want to address it for their sake. If you don't know what's going on, don't worry about it. You don't need to. It's not your problem. I dislike drama between members of the pros. It drives me spare to see it, and I refuse to participate in it. And so I am asking you, if you are aware of this situation, to put it behind you. Just forget about it. It's not worth worrying over. It's not worth being angry over. It's not worth boycotting specific things because of it. If you're angry on my behalf or what was said to me, or if you're angry at me and what I said, either way, just put it behind you. It's not worth worrying about. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to mention it ever again, and I'm not going to criticize the individuals involved or anyone they may be associated with. I haven't blocked anybody. I haven't muted anybody. And I would really ask anyone who's aware of the situation, just take a step back, put it behind you, because that's what I'm going to do. In a larger sense, if an auntie comes to you and says, hey, this specific pro did something terrible today or yesterday or before all of this started, I'm not saying they are automatically lying. I'm not saying they are guaranteed to be lying, but that's generally the way to bet. Check it out for yourself. Don't just listen and believe, because you're probably, if not being told an outright lie, you're probably being misled somehow. Don't fall for it, because you could cause problems and cause drama where there doesn't need to be any. That's my request, having been bit by that in the last day. So, all of that behind me, I want to move on to happier news, or at least news that I, your host, find happier. Last night, thriller author Andrew Klavan. You may not know who Andrew Klavan is. He wrote the novel on which the movie I'll Never Tell was based. You remember the girl with her finger in the air, the pretty actress who later died? I'll never tell any of you. He wrote the thriller on which that movie was based. He's written several other thrillers. He's written the scripts to several movies, and he wrote the script to a spooky and discomforting horror game called Haunting Melissa. That's available on mobile platforms, designed specifically for mobile platforms, so it takes advantage of texts and sounds and other things. You'll be going along on your day, and suddenly your phone will pop up a text from the game with a spooky tone that scares the crap out of you, or at least startles you, or at least that's what happened to me. Andrew Klavan is a prominent right-wing commenter. I don't know that I would necessarily describe him as a conservative. As a member of Hollywood, he is pro-gay marriage and has been very outspoken at people who are intolerant of seeing homosexuals displaying hugging, kissing, whatever in public. People who get angry at that, he gets upset at, okay? He thinks that you shouldn't shame gay couples for holding hands in public or other forms of affection. And so he's not what most people would bin as a stereotypical conservative. And so I don't know that I would describe him that way, but he's definitely, if not a conservative, at least a libertarian with conservative tendencies. He released a video last night in his Revolting Truth series. This video was about, and you may have guessed this already because I'm bringing it up, this video is about Gamergate. Now, I think that this is not just a great video, it is also a great sign because we are gaining support in the mainstream and we are gaining more and more open support. This has been a long and painful process, and I don't think it's going to end anytime immediately. But by our struggles, by our endurance, we are gaining allies. And one of them has been Andrew Klavan, who made a brilliant video that, despite being brilliant, may bother some of you. He refers throughout the video to, quote unquote, the left. And I had specifically many pros tell me that kind of irritated them. I want to suggest to you that what he is referring to in this video when he refers to the left, he is really referring to the authoritarian left, otherwise known as social justice warriors, at least in this day and age. So instead of being offended that he's referring to you if you are a liberal or consider yourself to be on the left side of the political spectrum, just understand he's referring to authoritarians here. And let me tell you a tiny little smidgen of a detail that just impressed me and showed me how sincere he is. During the video, he makes mention of several example video games, one of which is Grand Theft Auto 5. And they have an animation of, it looks like cut paper, almost like South Park. They have an animation of Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, characters from these video games, Grand Theft Auto 5, and Tomb Raider. The character they use to show Grand Theft Auto 5 is Franklin, who begins the game a member of a gang. And this is the part that impressed me. He's wearing the correct colors. His cap and his kerchief covering his mouth are green, which is the color of the gang Franklin runs with in Grand Theft Auto 5. This is not a video that was thrown together thoughtlessly, carelessly, or quickly. Whether he or someone on his staff plays the game, I can't say. But at the very least, they bothered to do the research to get the game right. They know what they're talking about. The other thing I loved about this video that more of you will notice immediately is this. Do you remember that poor scientist who got picked on because of a shirt gate? Well, in this video, Andrew Klavan is wearing the shirt with sci-fi guns and hot women in negligees. He's wearing this shirt. He is showing his support for our cause of ethics in journalism. And so I'm asking you to go ahead. I'm going to put the link in the description of the video. I'm asking you to go ahead, go out, take a look at the video. It's great. It's short. It's like 4 minutes. And it shows what he's thinking, where he's coming at, supporting the pros in this. He does not have the exact same attitudes on politics or life as the rest of us do, but the fact is, none of us have the exact same attitudes towards politics or life as anybody else. There are 15,000 of us on Twitter, 18,000 of us on Reddit, more joining every day, untold thousands on 8chan. We have allies everywhere that you don't know about. We have members of the staff of the Glenn Beck Show who are active in the pros, at least as I have been told. We have Ed Driscoll, who is a libertarian blogger at Hot Air, who hosted a podcast with Milo Yiannopoulos and Adam Baldwin, one of the very first podcasts that put Gamergate out before the public, right wing. And Adam and Milo themselves, we all know about Brandon Morse, a right winger on Twitter who is prominently supportive of Gamergate. And we have staff members. I'm just giving you examples. This is not an exhaustive list. These are just the quick examples I thought of as I was out on my run today, making notes and tweeting because I do that on my run. I'm sure that's not the healthiest thing, and I'm afraid that someday a car is going to hit me because I'm busy snapping off a reply, but that's what I was doing today, and I'm fine. Ace of Spades is a mill blog that is a blog founded by a member of the military who keeps their identity secret. They regularly have nighttime threads with thousands of commenters in it. It's a huge and influential right-wing blog, prominent members of which are pro Gamergate. And Ace himself, while not being pro, isn't anti. He's a neutral because he doesn't really care about video games all that much, but not everyone does. So you see what I'm saying? We have allies that we don't know about who have not spoken out because of whatever reason, who are now speaking out, and that is something that excited me. Here's another one, Steven Crowder, who is a prominent YouTuber who is right-wing, retweeted Andrew Klavan's video this morning. Steven Crowder, if you watch his videos and you're left-wing, be prepared to be offended because he's definitely a right-winger, and yet at the same time, they support the cause of freedom in video games. And you're going to say, well, maybe they're just attacking the left. If they were just attacking the left, why wouldn't they have done this earlier? Why wouldn't they have tried to use this as an issue in the elections? They're speaking up now. We should, and this is my admonition, my exhortation to you. If you are left-wing and if you dislike conservatives, my suggestion is not to spurn help, because these men, Adam, Milo, Ed, Brandon, Andrew, Steven, the guys at Ace of Spades, based on my assessment of their writing and their speaking and their character, they are sincere. They are here because they genuinely want us to succeed. They're not here to try and make us into a crowd of right-wingers and to try and turn us into a force for the Republican Party. They are here because they want us to push back against censorship. They want us to push back against authoritarianism, and they want to see video games kept free so that people can make whatever kind of video games they want. If you want to make something shitty and miserable like Depression Quest, you should be able to. If you want to make something quirky and funny like Seedscape, more power to you. And if you want to make something as vibrant and violent as Grand Theft Auto 5, more power to you. Andrew Klavan names it, calls it out specifically in his video as being something that he wants to see protected and allowed. Let me say that to those of you who may not have heard this point of view before. Andrew Klavan, A right-winger thinks Grand Theft Auto ought to be protected from censors. Okay? Let that sink in, because he is genuine about his beliefs and his statements, and he is here to help. I don't know what involvement any of these people will have going forward, but I do know they have been working very hard in their communities for issues like this and even this. So don't spurn their help. We could use all the help we can get, and I think it's awesome to see. I had some more material that I just can't get to tonight. That is it. We are out of time. So sorry. Had some great material. We are out of time. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. The Kick-Ass Geekcast is on Monday through Friday, 7 p.m., half an hour of news and views. Geektastic Gabfest, 7 p.m. Sunday, Eastern Time, both of them. 7 p.m. Sunday, an hour of all fun, no work. Catch me, your host, DaddyWarpig.com, DaddyWarpig.com, the House of Geekery, my geek blog, or catch me on Twitter at Daddy_Warpig, at Daddy_Warpig. I am your host for the Kick-Ass Geekcast, and I will be back.